Hey everyone, Dylan here, and welcome to the Raw review for last night's show of February the 3rd. Let's just get right into the review, why not? They start off the show by a show in Cleveland, Ohio, like kind of the whole city. I think they said the name of this dome or whatever, but I'm not sure. I don't remember hearing it. Whatever, anyway, we're in Cleveland, that's all that matters. They show everybody arriving, a Rumble recap, and then we start off the show with main event Jey Uso. No spoilers for the Rumble, but he's kind of important. Actually, this interview will spoil the Rumble, so if you don't want the Rumble spoiled, wait till a little bit later on today probably, and I'll have the Royal Rumble review up if you want to watch that before watching this episode, or actually watch the 2025 Royal Rumble, however you want to do things, you know? But this episode's going to spoil the Rumble just a little bit. After the crowd chants yeet and he gets a standing ovation and you deserve it chant for like 20 minutes, he gets a little emotional and then he thanks him. It explains his kind of history in wrestling and how he got to this point in his career. He said that there was a point in his career that he couldn't feel as if he can do the singles competitor thing. But after how last night happened, he's got it now. He said that he worked hard to get this spot in position, and he got there because of every single one of them in the crowd. That's us. And he said because of them, he's a 2025 Rumble winner. That's one of the spoilers. That's about as far as he got into his little prelude because Gunther comes out and cuts him off. He says he wants to congratulate him, but then he says, congratulations for what? He says in reality he's disappointed in the possibility of this match. It doesn't appeal to him because Jey can't even lace up his boots. He talks about how he tricked everybody in the crowd into believing that he's barely in control and barely able to keep the title, but he has it still. He refuses to wrestle Jey again because beating him at Mania doesn't do anything for him and his legacy, unlike beating John Cena, Roman Reigns, or Punk would, he says. He continues on to say if he chooses Gunther, then every week leading up into the Mania will be hell for Jey. He advises him to consider his options and then goes to walk away. As he's going out of the ring, Jey asks him if he's tired yet, because Jey's tired. He's tired of everybody telling him what he can and can't do. He says that he will go to SmackDown and talk to Cody, but whoever he chooses, he'll be walking out at WrestleMania as the main event champion. Yeet. That's a basic paraphrase of what they did. After that, they end the segment, he does a bunch of yeeting, and they replay what Rollins did to Reigns at the Rumble for the first of many times tonight. And they talk about the Elimination Chamber coming up and how there's a lot of qualifiers. They then show how Cena had a post-show statement at the Rumble saying that he's automatically got a spot in the Rumble because after 20-something years, he deserves one thing. Let's just ignore all the other opportunities he's deserved because of his loyalty to the company. Anyway, so Cena's officially one of the 6 participants in the chamber, and we figure out another one for the main event tonight between Sami, Zayn, and CM Punk. They also plug how other men will fight for the qualifying spots throughout the weeks, as well as the women. After that, we get Kaiser versus Penta, which I think is just a Penta match, where Penta wins with the arm dislocation thing, and then he hits a Piledriver. Jackie Redmond then comes to the ring to try to interview him, but he gets cut off by Pete Dunne's music and entrance. Kaiser attacks Penta from behind after that and cheap shots him, uses his finisher. I don't know what the name of it is, but he does his finisher, then leaves the ring as Pete Dunne just stares at Penta. They replay JD's injury from last week, and then we go backstage where Finn berates the rest of the JDs. Like, so I've been gone for a week, and what do? You injure one of my tag team partners, and to top it off, you cash in my rematch for the tag team titles without me even being here. Liv tries to calm him down and say he just did that to fill in a spot. He didn't do that to try to take advantage of him. And like as she's trying to make excuses, it makes Finn more angry. He said he doesn't care. He's got a qualifying match later on tonight. or maybe it's next. Yeah, it's next week, and he doesn't care about any of that nonsense. Then Liv reveals that Dom was the one who got him the spot to kind of make up for everything, and that eased tension. Then she says that they're going to listen to him from here on out. The biggest ruse ever. Yeah, you tell them. They're lying, ain't they, Pumpkin? Yeah. After that little segment, we get Charlotte coming out, and even before she talks, I know she's going to pick Tiffany, so as promising as this whole Rhea thing sounds, I tuned out halfway through it. She tries to give like this little babyface promo about how she didn't even know if she was going to go back to the ring or not. Like, ever make it back into the ring after last year with her knee injury and other issues. And then the crowd starts booing her, so she says, you know what, I don't even mind you all booing me, because whether you boo or woo me, the queen is back now. And she wanted to prove that she is the very best at this. She, for lack of a better term, she rambles on like that for another second until Rhea comes out to cut her off. She teases about the possibility of them fighting at Mania, and she begs her to pick her because she beat her last time they fought at Mania. Charlotte says that she won the year before that, so that's funny. And Rhea retorts with something. I think she says that I didn't write down. Rhea retorts with something. And then Charlotte says that she's going to go to NXT and SmackDown to see if their champions inspire her, because Rhea showed her that she's still just a kid, and she'll see her next week. Rhea then takes that personal and begs her to pick her so that she can beat the respect into her, and that's how the segment ends. Sami is then interviewed backstage about his match later on tonight with Punk, and how he needs to focus on him and beat him. He's then asked if he's checked in on Kevin, and he apologizes to the interviewer but cuts her off, and then he walks off the screen saying he has something to settle. We then see Jey, and Jey's kind of stone-faced. Jey tries to apologize to him about the kick, and Sami just hugs him and says, "Oh, it's all good. Congratulations. Focus on your Mania main event." Cross then comes into shot after Jey leaves, asking him how it feels with everybody else living out his dream for him. Sami then tells him not to be a problem for him, and Cross says he hasn't been a problem yet, but he can become a problem real fast. And that's how we end that little segment. This slow Sami heel turn is so good, by the way. Knew they then come out to a new theme. I don't know if they debuted this at the Rumble or what, but I kind of like it. I'm kind of digging it. And they came out to fight Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio. But before that happens, Rhea's walking backstage. She runs into Io, and Io says that she will maybe see her at Mania. Then before the match, she gets jumped by Liv Morgan. Rhea tries to run her off, and Raquel just jumps Rhea. So now she's worse for wear for their match. Whoever will win. Alright, so back to the match. About halfway through it, the match between the LWO and the New Day, the Paul brother comes out. I wrote down for some reason, but commentary explains it off as Ray and him will have a match next week. So, match ends with the Paul brother costing Ray the match by distracting him, aka pulling him out of the ring, I think maybe hitting him or something, then throwing him back into the ring for Kofi to hit the Trouble in Paradise for the win for the New Day. I think as the Paul brothers leave, and I think Ray flips him off, which popped me because that's just how I feel internally. After that segment, they show the Rumble highlights between Seth Roman and Punk for the second time tonight. Then commentary says that Reigns will be out for the foreseeable future. And in my head, I immediately said, okay, we'll see him back probably sometime in March. He's probably taking like a month vacation or something. Kathy Kelly and CM Punk tried to do an interview, and this is the first of many technical difficulties throughout the night that interrupted. She asked him about the qualifier he's in later on tonight, and she said something like, silver lining, even though you lost the Rumble, you at least have a qualifier for the Elimination Chamber. And then he says silver lining was him not winning the Rumble, but also neither did Seth or Roman. Talks about how he's going to win this match, and he's going to win the Chamber, then he excuses himself to get ready for the match. They have a little ad about the new Topps trading cards, and you best believe I'm going to get back into those like ASAP. Going to collect all the cards this time. Then they show an injured Io Sky walk into the ring for her qualifier as PFC is watching behind her in the background. That's right. I learned their name at the Royal Rumble, which that review, again, it will either be up later on today or later on throughout the week. So Io and Liv have their qualifier match, which about halfway through the match, actually towards the ending bit, Raquel tries to interfere for Liv, but Rhea comes down to kind of even the odds. She's beating up on Raquel, and then Liv pulls Rhea's hair or puts her hand on her or something, and Rhea punches her. That ends up giving Liv the win by disqualification. Io gets like super pissed off about that. Her and Rhea have a moment in the ring where she kind of brushes her off and leaves the arena. And that's how we end that segment. Kathy Kelly then interviews the Viking Raiders about what's next for them. They try to give JD, the person, not the group, some respect, but American Made cuts them off, specifically Chad Gable. Gable talks for them and says that his team won't injure people unlike they did, and that they will take the titles. Viking Raiders say that they're going to win a fight against them, and they better be ready to go war for the titles. After the Viking Raiders walk away, Gable says that he has to leave for a little while to learn dark arts, and he wants his team to win the gold, and including Ivy to win the Women's IC Championship, not to disappoint him. He then puts on his shades and says, "I'll be back," to end the segment. After a plug for Evolve, which I say it during the Rumble, I think they are going to bring back Evolve March 12th or something like that. I may start watching Evolve and doing reviews on there, but between like barely making Raw as it is and gosh, not even uploading any AEW related content on here and still planning in my head like, ooh, I can upload TNA on here. Who knows? We might get an Evolve review. I might just forget all about that show. Just depends. You know what? Let me know if you all want to hear a review over Evolve. Let me know that. Alright, after that plug, we get Seth Rollins coming out. Honestly, my first thought was, oh my gosh, did Michael P.S. Haynes come back from, like, 1980s? Adam Pearce is interviewed beforehand, like, before Seth says anything, and officially announces that AJ Styles is back on the Raw roster. Breaker interrupts his little plug for AJ and says that he needs to keep Styles away from him. Then he asks what's next for the IC title, and he feels disrespected by him not like talking about him and his future plans. Well, Adam Pearce says, well, why don't we talk about business off screen real quick? And that's what they do to end the segment. So we go back to Seth in the ring where he does his little opening bit like, welcome to Monday Night Rollins, I'm the architect, the messiah, the blah, 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 blah. He does that bit. And then congratulates Jey for winning the Rumble. I'm paraphrasing like every other interview on here. But he congratulates Jey for winning the Rumble, that he's happy that Reigns and Punk got eliminated. During his little speech, the feed starts cutting in and out again. And he talks about how everybody's Mania plan kind of has been ruined and they got to come up with a new one. What's some theoretical plans for him? Here's what he thinks. And then he brings up himself, where he's disappointed himself for losing the Rumble, but he has many paths that'll take him to Mania, including the Chamber. And that's why he has a qualifier next week. I think him and Finn have a qualifying match against each other next week. He mentions how Sami also needs to win the qualifier, and that he needs to tell him something before the match, so he needs Sami to come on out. Sami comes on out, and he hypes up Sami and tells him to remember how he doesn't like Punk and that Punk isn't his friend and how he needs to beat him. He tells him how he needs to see him in the Chamber and not Punk, and he better win this. And then Sami, he does like a rah-rah speech. And he goes to leave the ring, and as he's going up the ramp, Punk's music cues and it cuts him off. They tried to do a little brawl, but the ref ends up separating them by keeping them apart before the match happens. Then we get Punk versus Zayn for the Elimination Chamber qualifier. Fuck it, you know what I'm trying to say. Both men wrestled well during this match. There was a spot that included a bulldog. Punk does like the knee into a bulldog in the corner, but the bulldog gets reversed into a blue thunderbomb. That was a cool spot. But ultimately, the match ends with cable interruption. Go fucking lore. There was so much. And Punk ended up reversing a haluva kick. Like, he's got Sami in one corner and says, like, you see that? You're not going to make it to Mania because I am. You know, something like that. He runs to the opposite corner. Sami follows behind him for a haluva kick. But Punk saw it coming, so he dodges it. Sami, like, hurts his leg on that and slowly gets up to eat a GTS for the 1, 2, 3. I wrote down very jokingly, unfortunately, the people at Netflix didn't like this outcome because we get more cable interruptions to close out the show. As Punk looks on at the Mania sign, they try to do a post-match segment, but again, my feed was a little cutty, so sorry if I missed something here. After the match, Sami and Punk end up shaking hands. And as Punk's leaving, Kevin comes out through the crowd, hits Sami from behind to bump Punk off the apron, and then he hits a package piledriver on Sami. And yeah, I'm getting my Kevin versus Sami feud. I'm happy. That's all I needed in life. And that's how we end the show, was Kevin just package piledrivering Sami. I don't know what it's been about these past couple of shows, but golly, it's like the first half of the show is alright. It's not bad, it's not good, it's just like right in the middle. And then they save their one best moment for the main event. Alright, I'll see you later on today for one of the Raws that I missed review. I think it's literally like the second Raw of this year, I think. Something like that. You'll know it when it's uploaded. Anyway, I'll see you for that, and there'll be a Rumble review eventually. Got some videos coming up tomorrow if you just want to tune in. Alright, I'll see you later. Bye!